For years we heard Giannis could leave Milwaukee, but it was a lie. The Bucks know how rare it is to have a Giannis, so every time he threatened to leave, they got better. 2020 he could be a free agent, so bam, they trade a ton of picks for Drew Holiday, win the championship. Then 2023, Giannis says, winning a championship comes first. I don't want to be 20 years on the same team and don't win another championship. So Milwaukee hires the coach of his choice, Adrian Griffin, and trades for Damian Lillard. So what's the difference? Oh, Giannis is going to leave Milwaukee. Yeah, right. We have heard that before. Only this time, there's no more cards to play. Even if the Bucks do want to make Giannis happy, they can't. It's like a rich sugar daddy buying his girlfriend these cars and fancy vacations. Then he's like, babe, I'm broke now. Please don't leave me. So I guarantee in the coming months, Shams bomb breaking. Giannis Antetokounmpo has requested a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks. And when that happens, teams are going to line up for the hottest name on the market. They'll be like, Kevin Durant who? Devin Booker? No, I'm sorry, we've got Giannis on the other line. But who are those teams going to be and what will it cost? But we have gotten some legit classic games already here in the first round. But I have a lot of fun no matter what game I'm watching when I'm playing Pick'em on Underdog. I pick higher or lower for whatever stats or whatever games I'm going to be watching that night. I can win a little money or a lot of money with their game streaks. If I stack 11 in a row, I can up to 1,000x my cash. So let me give you my best two picks for tonight. First up is Julius Randle, lower on his points, and then Luka Doncic, lower on his PRAs. And best of luck if you're tailing those picks. Check out this map. Underdogs available in all the highlighted states like Texas, where I live, California, or Florida with their game champions. If it's your first time signing up, nothing helps out the channel more than using the promo code AMHOOPS. Plus, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special free pick. But we have to acknowledge how much it sucks that Dame got hurt. A torn Achilles at 35 years old, his prime is over. But even with Dame, the Bucks look shot. I mean, outside of Giannis, the Pacers were better at everything. Passing, shooting, defending. Indy led the first 4 games by double digits in the first half. They are deeper and the Bucks are old. So the Dame trade never panned out. I mean, the idea was let's pair a lethal and clutch guard with an MVP big for a devastating pick and roll that cannot be stopped. But in reality, even when healthy, they underwhelmed. This season, Dame and Giannis had a plus 4.7 net rating on the floor together. For context, other star duos, SGA and Jalen Williams plus 13.1. Spider and Evan Mobley plus 11.1. The Jays in Boston plus 8.1. Now, some of that is the team around them. But it's really hard to build that team with 2 supermax contracts like Dame and Giannis. Like, if you don't find some wildly underpaid guy like Derek White in Boston, Chet Holmgren in OKC, you are thin as hell. But why are the Bucks thin? Because how are they going to improve? They don't own a single one of their first round picks until 2031. They took their shot and it's over. I mean, think about this. Under immense pressure to improve. At the trade deadline, they deal who at this point's a franchise legend, Chris Middleton, for Kyle Kuzma, who is a disaster. That was their big move. That is all you need to know about the future of the Bucks. Okay, now technically there is one other crazy thing that they could do. They could deal Dame's contract in 1 pick for Bradley Beal, Paul George, maybe? So was Giannis telling the truth? Were those threats about leaving real? Because he cannot talk himself into winning a championship with this Milwaukee Buck roster, especially after Dame's injury. So if Giannis was serious, he needs to request a trade because no GM wants to be the guy who traded the franchise superstar. They need Giannis to make that call. So this is similar to Kevin Garnett in Minnesota. He was an all-timer in a small market. For years, people told KG, you have got to leave. But he wanted to stay loyal. Big difference is Giannis won a ring. But by year 12, things went south. KG left for Boston, and now he says, the one regret from my entire career is that I should have come to Boston earlier. So is Giannis going to take KG's advice? Because if he does, teams are going to line up. Now, first, Giannis is going to change the market for all these other big names. Like, oh, we thought KD might go to Houston. Not if they get Giannis. Now the Durant sweepstakes opens up. Same with Trae Young or John Morant. But what do the Bucks really want in return here? Because they don't own any of their picks it makes no sense for them to suck, so they might as well get good players back and compete. Or they could say, okay, we're just going to look for the best overall package and we're going to figure out the rest later. So who has the best possible offer? Well, for some crazy reason, the Nets are in this race because a local report says Giannis is Brooklyn's plan A this offseason. They would have to deal picks and young players to pair Giannis with Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson. Clearly they need more talent than that, and the Nets are a pipe dream. But what about the Warriors? Because The Athletic just reported one name that will be monitored around the NBA if the wheels fall off in Bucks is Giannis. We know the owner Joe Lacob has had dreams of Giannis come to the Warriors' way for a very long time. And now with Jimmy Butler, the Dubs do have a legit offer. The Bucks get Jimmy, Jonathan Kuminga on a sign and trade, and control of 4 first-round picks. Dubs get Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. So the Bucks get to stay competitive. They get a good young player in JK and 4 first-round picks. Now that might hurt for Dubs fans, but the team who gets Giannis wins this trade. Plus, you gotta have a little pain to win this big bidding war. But it would be amazing to pair Giannis's rim game with Steph's threes. But what about the Orlando Magic? Because they have clearly reached their ceiling. They've got all these assets and they need to make a big move. Now, a point guard is the cleanest fit, but Paolo Banchero has proved to be a legit playoff performer. It would be amazing to see him paired with Giannis in big moments. So I think their best offer is Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Gary Harris, and control of 5 first-round picks. Magic get Giannis. That is a future All-Star in Franz, plus control of 5 firsts, but the Magic could go as high as 8 picks. Now, a decent point guard wants to join this team to win a chip, and you have got yourself a contender. But by far, the team with the most ammunition here is the Houston Rockets. If there is one thing that we have learned in this series against the Warriors, they need a go-to bucket in big games. Their one win the Rockets got was when Jalen Green went off for 38, but he is so inconsistent. The Rockets have so many guys on their team, they can't even play all their young talent. Plus, they have their own picks, and the Mavericks, the Suns, the Nets, all teams with shaky future. We know Milwaukee would demand a Amen Thompson, but Houston says no. Instead, Bucks get Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and Reed Shepherd, plus 4 valuable first-round picks. The Bucks would jump at this trade, and it's a great addition for the Rockets. You add Giannis to the 2 seed, and he's only just now 30 years old. That is so much better than 37-year-old KD. Plus, Giannis is even better than Devin Booker, who is not a legit number 1 player on a championship team. It's a lot to give up for Houston, but also a serious chance to win their first title since 1995. But here's a first look at teams who will have a hope to land Giannis. Rockets, Nets, Thunder, we have to mention, especially if they fail to make the NBA Finals. You never know what they could do. Knicks, if they want to move Karl Anthony Towns. Magic, Spurs, how crazy would that be if they went all in? Warriors, I think the Grizzlies could trade Ja Morant and picks. The Raptors actually have a decent amount of young talent and picks, not too dissimilar to the Houston Rockets. Now, I didn't mention like the Heat, for example, because they don't have enough picks. Either way, this is going to be an insane summer filled with trades if Giannis was serious about all those threats he made. But Giannis isn't the only player on the way out. Trae Young is already saying goodbye to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, some fans will say, I don't know, anything can happen. But when you see what Trae just did, there is no way he sticks around.